Would you scream at the manager of one store for another store being closed? Or perhaps ram into someone with a forklift? Well guys, welcome to rSlash IDontWorkHereLady, a great place where I've got some amazing stories lined up for you. So if you want to hear more, then make sure to subscribe for the channel and we'll get straight into the video. Delivery drivers don't work for that store. And no, you can't use my equipment either. So this story does have a crossover with rSlash entitled parents. Yes, I don't work here lady, entitled parent, they're basically synonyms. And I'll be honest, even though it happened to me, I still can't believe that there are people in the world that really act like this. And with my job, I see a lot of entitled drivers. Seriously, people act their worst around truck drivers, and most of us are just trying to make a living. The intro details are going to be a bit long, but I do apologize for that. Let's start off with a summary of my job. As I said, I'm a truck driver for a local sod company. Sod is pre-grown grass that gets the soil underneath dug up and rolled up onto pallets to be placed on the yard instead of using grass seed that takes a while to grow. We mostly deliver it to new developments so people have a yard when they move into their brand new home. We also deliver to homeowners that order it from time to time. The important part of this story is that we also deliver to local Lowe's and Home Depots in the area, as well as a few other landscaping stores. Typically, we deliver it at night to avoid traffic and crowded parking lots. But sometimes I'll run doubles, which will force my hand and have me run during store hours. Here's the cast. Me, a mediocre employee. I M, idiot mum, CK curious kid, about 7 or so, and M the manager. So I was working a typical day with a good number of Home Depot and Lowe's stores for the day, and it's evening around 7 or 8 at a Lowe's. I park my truck down by the garden area, activate my hazards, and hop out of the truck and get to work unstrapping the sod. This location had 4 pallets going here. I turn on the forklift on my trailer so I can get myself unloaded. As I'm doing this, entitled mum and curious kid are walking by, and CK gets real curious as to how my forklift gets on and off the trailer and asks me before I hopped up onto the lift. I wondered that for a while myself before getting this job, so I was more than happy to answer. I explained to the kid that basically I put the forks of the lift into a slot on the trailer and lower the forks, and since I can't go down with the trailer holding it and the trailer is firmly on the ground, instead it lifts the forklift and then pulls the forklift in, but again firmly in the trailer. So it instead pulls the lift up against the trailer. I do the opposite to get it off. And if you guys were a bit confused about what I just said, watch this. This is exactly what happens. Look at that. Lifts itself up, front goes up, back goes up, and we're there. And the forklift is on the truck. Beautiful. CK is wide-eyed at this, though I'm sure he doesn't quite get my explanation. You're more than welcome to watch me get it off. CK turning to his mum. Can I, mum? Of course, dear. I need to get mulch, so I'll be at the register paying for it. I thought of this as no big deal, as the register was close by and in full view of where I was. I proceed to get on the lift and get it off the trailer, all while the kid watches in amazement. I go and take several of the pallets off the truck and place them in their designated spot. One of the pallets unfortunately breaks and falls apart. We reuse pallets, and some seem in good condition when we harvest the sod, so it happens from time to time. Annoying, but no big deal. We just restack it on a different pallet. I hop off the lift and go to stack the fallen sod onto one of the pallets already there, that had the previous delivery's sod on it. I usually leave the lift on because, well, I'm not a fan of the company for reasons I won't go into, so I don't go out of my way to save money for them, like saving gas. As I'm moving the fallen sod onto the pallet, IM comes up to me with a receipt in her hand. Excuse me, but when you're done, I need a pallet of mulch loaded onto the back of my pickup. She points back to a truck parked near my 18-wheeler. Oh, I'm sorry ma'am, I don't actually work here, I just deliver the sod. Don't give me that just because you want to be lazy. I appreciate you keeping my kid entertained and all, but I'm in a hurry. As I said before, I don't work for Lowe's, I just deliver the sod. I'm sure that the cashier has already called for someone to come help you out. I used to work for a Home Depot, so I know for a fact they did. Well, you're here now, so you can help me now, or I'm calling for your manager. I laugh at this one. My manager doesn't put up with behavior like this, so I'm amused on how that conversation would go. And 2, I'm amused that people think this is a trump card that will get people to do what you want. Are you making fun of me? No ma'am, forgive me, but I can't load your truck for the reason that I don't work here. So if I damaged your truck while getting the pallet on, I could be held liable, not Lowe's or my work. And while I'm very good with the lift, I'd rather not try my luck. Why don't you wait for an actual employee to help you? Fine then, I'll find some other way. She starts to walk away, dragging CK, and I think that's the end of it. Boy was I wrong. As I'm returning back to restacking the fallen sod, IM stops just by the lift on her way back to her truck, and an idea forms in her head. I looked up just in time to see IM hop up into the seat of my still running lift. Oh, poop. If you've never used a lift designed to be on a truck before, they're quite different to most lifts you see in stores like Home Depot and Sam's Club. I've used lifts at both. Mine has 2 pedals, one for power on the right and the other to control forward and backward on the left. I nearly press the left pedal plenty of times while climbing on. It's that close to the edge of the driver's compartment. While I'm trying to get over to her to stop her, she steps on the left pedal, causing it to move forward. This startles her and she panically sits down and her other foot presses down on the right pedal, causing the speed to go from a slow crawl to a full sprint. Now mind you, these lifts aren't the fastest in terms of top speed, but boy do they have some incredible acceleration to them. She flies forward and quickly grabs the steering wheel, turning it. This causes the lift to turn right and slams the side of it into me, throwing me onto the ground. She regains herself enough to turn the wheel straight, but not enough to realize to stop the lift. She just has to lift her left foot off the pedal. I seriously wonder how she's gotten her license. Instead, she reaches for the levers that control the boom. She looks up in time to see she's heading straight for my truck and tries to stop the lift by pulling a lever. A witness stated it looked like she was scared. Not that she was intentional or angry. Instead of stopping the lift, she lifts the forks of the lift up and slams into my truck, forks piercing the hood. Finally, the lift comes to a halt and the engine shuts off since she's still pressing the pedal at this point. She finally hops off as a manager runs onto the scene. I assume he was called because of the argument earlier and had less to do than the workers called to help IM, resulting in his quicker response. What the hell happened? I'm on the ground, writhing in agony, thinking I'm going to die at this time. The cashier who checked out IM ran to my aid while M goes to IM, trying to figure out what happened. I couldn't speak, but I could still see barely and hear clearly. The idiot mother still shook up from the crash. This employee of yours was refusing to load my mulch onto my truck, so I decided I was going to do it myself instead. She's holding onto CK, who's crying his eyes out, thinking his mum was really hurt. Him, pointing to me. That guy doesn't even work for this company. He's just a delivery driver. At this point, I'm realizing that I'm not going to die. But instead, I had the wind knocked out of me, a sprained ankle and a broken wrist, along with a back full of cuts and scrapes. The cashier yelled to the manager that I was okay, but still needed an ambulance. The police were first to the scene, and were quick to arrest IM since she all but confessed that she hit me, before being driven off to the hospital. They asked me if I wanted to press charges. Trust me, I really thought of doing it, but her kid was really sweet and even tried to make sure I was okay and was saying he was sorry his mum did that. For his sake, I declined. Besides, I was 3 hours away from where I lived, so I'd have to come all the way out here if I wanted to follow through with it every time there was a hearing. So that was another reason. The officer did reassure me that with the camera and witness reports that she was going to get charged with destruction of property, disorderly conduct, and a few other charges, and that for those I just needed to provide a written statement later. Her insurance also covered the damage to the truck, which totaled to almost $30,000 due to a good chunk of damage being in the engine. My boss had to not only get a tow truck out there, but a replacement truck to grab the trailer, since the tow truck wasn't allowed to tow a trailer unless the truck was picked up from the side of the road. It's been 2 weeks and I'm fine now and I'm back on the job. The rental truck is automatic, which is the only reason I'm glad for automatics, cause I still have the cast on, and it's going to be another month or 2 before my truck is out of the shop. Last I heard was that IM pleaded guilty to all charges at the advice of her lawyer, and had to spend 6 months in jail and do community service and probation. She was also banned from all Lowe's. No surprise there. Well, at least the mother here seemed to recognize her actions, and she really got the end she deserved. Quite uncommon for entitled parents. No, I don't work here. I'm a tourist. This was around 8 years ago when I was on my senior trip to the USA. It was beautiful until I went to the food store. I had a camera attached to me, and I was strolling through an aisle when I hear a woman, humph. I ignore this thinking, okay, if she approaches me, I'll be nice. You there, I can't find the wine they sell here. I'm sorry, what? The wine! What wine? In Turkish, wine is syrup. I was confused. She notices my dark skin and walks away. I go on shopping until I reach the cashier with my 2 friends when I hear, "Hey, do you guys have a gun?" Me to my friends, "Nesi kim?" which means what the F in Turkish. The police officer puts the gun away and turns to the woman. He has no gun. He's Mexican and is an illegal immigrant that Trump was supposed to take care of. I later found out that Trump is a guy in the USA who has power and planned to run for president. He succeeded. May I ask for your identification? I hand him our passports that we had with us since we had gotten off the plane like an hour ago. They're Turkish with passports. He turns to the woman and snaps handcuffs on her and walks her away to the car. A cashier gave us a nice gift card to a Starbucks coffee shop. A somewhat racist story with what I would like to call a good ending. Don't yell at me. I didn't close that store. I never worked there or knew it existed. For some background, I manage a small local jewelry store in a small flea market style mall filled with local artisans and businesses. I'm friendly with the people who own and work in the stores on either side of mine, but I don't work for them, and I don't really ever have the chance to leave my store when I'm on shift. Since my store is so tiny, there's only ever one employee there at a time, so when I'm working, I have no time to wander around the mall. I actually don't know anything about the stores or vendors at the other end from where my store is located, and have never even been in most of them. Today, I'm at work, reading a book behind the counter since no one's in the store, as usual, when an older man comes in, comes right up to the counter, and immediately starts being a bee. Where the hell is the wine store? My wife and I have been up and down this mall and it's not there. I'm sorry? There was a wine shop at the other end last time I was here. Did you close it? Oh, I honestly don't know about that. I just work in this store. I'm not familiar with a wine vendor in this mall. Sorry. Well, we came here all the way from the town 45 minutes away, just for that wine shop. And it appears to have disappeared into thin goddamn air. Now can you explain that? Me, very confused at this point. Sorry, I really don't know what wine shop you're referring to. You might have better luck asking one of the store clerks close to that end of the mall. I don't work there, so... The old man, very agitated with me by now. How do you work here and not know what's going on in your effing place of business? Is there anyone here who knows anything? Is your manager here? Me, kinda getting mad to be honest. I am the manager of this particular store, but as I said, I only work here. So it's not my job to really keep tabs on the other businesses that rent space in the mall. They're not my place of business. This is. Sorry. the old man in that condescending baby boomer customer service voice. "Well, it's very disappointing to drive such a long way for something only to find that this place has clearly dropped the ball on the product they carry and their customer service. I don't think we'll be sticking around." He finally left after that, and when I called and told the owner of my store, she just laughed and said to yell back next time. But what an effing jerk. Imagine being so mad about wine. I work in a touristy town, so there are tons of nice wine shops 5 minutes down the street. Don't yell at a 22-year-old manager who makes $13 an hour over your choice to waste gas before bothering to Google what businesses are still open. But imagine walking into a shop and asking, "So hey, is that store on the other side of town still open? You don't know? How can you not know about that store? You really should. You work in retail, so you need to know about all the stores that exist around here." Alright guys, unfortunately, that's it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed these stories as much as I did. Some good news is finally, this channel is getting some good audio. As this video is getting uploaded, hopefully my mic is sailing somewhere over the ocean and getting ready to arrive in my hands. So hopefully you should see a good jump in audio quality very, very soon. But for now guys, I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite story was. And as always, all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.